What if the story of humanity didn't begin on Earth? What if everything you thought you knew about your origins, your purpose, your struggles, your soul, was just the surface of a much deeper, cosmic truth? For centuries, whispers of celestial beings have echoed through ancient temples, indigenous prophecies, and esoteric texts. They speak of star-born messengers, entities of light and wisdom who have watched over humanity since before recorded time. You've heard of angels, guides, ascended masters, but there's another name that keeps resurfacing in the shadows of suppressed knowledge: the Pleiadians. Are they gods? Are they aliens? Or are they our forgotten family? Some say the Pleiadians seeded human consciousness long ago. Others claim they are returning, not to invade, but to awaken. To remind us of who we really are and the incredible journey we've been on, a journey lost in the fog of false history and spiritual amnesia. But here's the part no one dares to speak aloud. Their return isn't about salvation. It's about reckoning. Because when the truth comes, it doesn't just enlighten, it shatters illusions. In this video, we're going to pull back the veil. We'll explore the ancient symbols and sacred sites that hold Pleiadian fingerprints, decode the hidden teachings buried in mythology and spiritual doctrine, and uncover why modern society has kept this cosmic connection obscured for so long. You'll learn the untold story of humanity's divine origins, and the shocking truth about our role in an unfolding galactic narrative. But be warned, once you hear this, you can't unhear it. This knowledge will change how you see the world, and more importantly, how you see yourself. So stay with me. Let's journey into the stars, and into the deepest parts of your forgotten self. The Pleiadians, their name alone evokes a sense of mystery, a connection to something far beyond the confines of Earth. Yet, this cosmic truth is not new. It's been hidden in plain sight for centuries, veiled within sacred texts, ancient scriptures, and the lost stories of civilizations that predate modern history. To truly understand their significance, we must journey back through time. In the ancient Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki, beings of great intelligence and power, were said to descend from the stars. These deities, however, were not the only celestial visitors our ancestors spoke of. The Pleiadians, often referred to as the Seven Sisters, have been mentioned in multiple spiritual traditions across the world. Their light, described as golden and radiant, was said to offer wisdom, healing, and a deep connection to the divine. The first recorded mentions of the Pleiades come from the ancient civilizations of Mesopotamia, where the Sumerians believed these beings were key to human evolution. The Pleiades were not gods to worship, but rather cosmic guides, imparting knowledge that shaped humanity's very foundation. The Egyptians, too, revered the stars in this cluster, associating them with the goddess Isis, a figure of resurrection and spiritual awakening. In fact, many of the world's greatest spiritual figures, such as the Egyptian and Greek sages, were thought to have been directly connected to the Pleiadian wisdom. Their teachings, however, were often distorted or hidden by those in power, wisdom too potent, too transformative to be shared with the masses. But why has this knowledge remained suppressed for so long? The answer lies in the very nature of power and control. Those who ruled the ancient world understood that once the populace unlocked their connection to the stars, once they discovered their true divine nature, they could no longer be easily manipulated. The Pleiadians' wisdom was thus concealed, hidden within the mystery schools, cloaked in symbolism, and encoded in the myths and legends of ancient peoples. To keep humanity enslaved in ignorance, these truths had to be buried in the shadows, left to be rediscovered only by the most devoted seekers. Fast forward to modern times, and the echoes of these ancient teachings are becoming louder. As humanity begins to awaken to the deeper aspects of existence, the question arises once again: why have the Pleiadians returned? If they seeded human consciousness eons ago, what purpose do they serve now, in an era dominated by technological advancement, materialism, and the rush of daily life? Philosophers throughout history have pondered this very question. Carl Jung, for example, believed in the idea of the collective unconscious, a shared, deep-seated connection between all human beings, linking us to an ancient source of knowledge and wisdom. Could the Pleiadians represent this very unconscious force, acting as messengers to help humanity reconnect with the lost parts of ourselves? Friedrich Nietzsche, a philosopher often associated with the concept of the Übermensch, or Superman, argued that humanity must transcend its current limitations and embrace a higher state of consciousness. But where does this higher state come from? Is it something we can achieve through inner work, or is it part of a greater cosmic blueprint, one that stretches across time and space, linking us to the stars? And then, there is the work of Gabor Mate, who often speaks of the traumas that bind us to our earthly limitations. His teachings center around the idea that healing begins when we reconnect with our true nature, unburdened by past wounds and societal expectations. Could the Pleiadians be a symbolic representation of this potential for human healing, an awakening to our higher self? The Pleiadians, then, are not merely extraterrestrial beings coming to save us, they are the harbingers of a profound, cosmic shift. The truth they offer is not just spiritual, but existential: we are not alone. We never have been. In the next section, we'll begin to break down this cosmic journey, revealing the deeper meanings behind their messages and how they fit into humanity's long-awaited transformation. The Pleiadians are often described as beings of light, radiating a golden energy, and their essence is said to transcend time and space. But to understand who they truly are and why their influence is so significant to humanity's journey, we need to explore their message in depth. Let's start with a central idea. The Pleiadians are not here to save us, they are here to help us remember who we are. Many of us live in a world of constant distraction, fragmented by the noise of modern life, our jobs, social media, entertainment, the endless search for material gain. We've forgotten what truly matters. We've forgotten the stars. But these celestial beings, according to spiritual texts and modern channeled messages, are reminding us of a truth we've been conditioned to ignore: we are part of something far greater than ourselves. We are, in essence, cosmic beings having a human experience. To grasp this, we must understand the connection between the Pleiadians and the ancient concept of the divine spark, the part of us that is inherently connected to the universe, to the stars, and to the very fabric of creation. This spark is what the Pleiadians seek to awaken in us, urging us to reconnect with our divine heritage. One of the most fascinating concepts related to the Pleiadians is their connection to the time of awakening, an era that many spiritual traditions have predicted would come. In the ancient Mayan calendar, for instance, the end of the cycle in 2012 was marked as the beginning of a new era, an age of enlightenment, spiritual awakening, and collective evolution. The Pleiadians, according to various spiritual channelers, have been closely involved in this process. They didn't arrive in 2012 in a literal sense, but rather, their influence began to subtly shift human consciousness. This shift, however, is not instant, it's gradual. The Pleiadians understand the nature of spiritual awakening is not a forceful intrusion into our lives, but rather a subtle awakening, a gentle nudge from within. The key to unlocking this higher state of consciousness lies in the idea of integration. The Pleiadians are said to guide us in integrating our higher selves with our earthly existence. They aren't interested in taking us off the planet or whisking us away to distant galaxies. Instead, they are here to help us awaken the latent potential within our human form. They guide us to step into our true power, our true nature, not as victims of our circumstances but as co-creators of our reality. This leads to an essential question: what is the role of the shadow in this awakening? Carl Jung's concept of the shadow, the unconscious part of ourselves that contains repressed desires, fears, and aspects of our personality we deny, plays a critical role in this process. The Pleiadians, like other advanced spiritual teachers, are said to guide us in embracing the shadow. Only by facing the hidden parts of ourselves can we truly evolve. The Pleiadian message, in this context, encourages us to look within, face the darkness, and use it as fuel for our transformation. In a sense, they are teaching us that the light can only be fully recognized by embracing the dark. This idea of embracing the shadow might be the very reason why so many have not been ready for the Pleiadian awakening. The truth they offer isn't just beautiful, it's challenging. It forces us to confront the parts of ourselves we've long denied, to dig deep into the unconscious layers of fear and shame that bind us. This is why, for many, spiritual growth is not a comfortable experience. It requires brutal honesty and a willingness to look at life and ourselves in ways we might not want to. To better understand this, let's take a look at the metaphor of the phoenix, an image often associated with spiritual rebirth. The phoenix must first burn, its old self consumed by the fire, before it can rise from the ashes, transformed. This is not an easy process. It's messy, it's painful, and it requires shedding old identities, attachments, and illusions. But in the end, it's the only way to experience true freedom, the kind of freedom that the Pleiadians encourage us to claim. Their guidance, in essence, is not about avoiding pain or struggle. It's about transcending it. By embracing the totality of our experience, we gain access to the wisdom that transcends time and space. And in this process, we tap into the divine power that has always been within us. The Pleiadians are simply the reminder of that forgotten truth. But how can we begin this journey of integration and awakening? How can we access the wisdom of the Pleiadians in a practical, grounded way? The answers lie within the rituals of the ancients, practices that align the mind, body, and spirit to the higher frequencies of the cosmos. These rituals are not just symbolic, they are gateways, portals to other states of consciousness. As we delve deeper into the cosmic guidance offered by the Pleiadians, we encounter paradoxes, truths that are often hidden beneath layers of illusion. The Pleiadians, much like other enlightened beings in the history of human consciousness, are not merely teachers, they are catalysts. They stir the soul, challenge the mind, and push the boundaries of what we perceive as possible. But as we explore the deeper dimensions of their teachings, it's important to understand that their wisdom isn't always as straightforward as we might expect. One of the most striking aspects of the Pleiadian teachings is their emphasis on frequency, the idea that all of existence, from the stars to the soil beneath our feet, operates on a vibrational level. This concept, which has long been explored in both spiritual and scientific circles, suggests that reality is not as solid as it seems. Everything, from our thoughts to the material world, is in constant motion, vibrating at various frequencies. The Pleiadians claim that humanity, in its current state, is operating at a lower frequency, one that is bound by fear, doubt, and disconnection from the divine source. The first step to ascension, therefore, is to raise our vibration, to reconnect with the higher frequency of love, unity, and wisdom. This idea is not new. Ancient spiritual traditions speak of the divine light and the universal love that exists beyond the material world. The Pleiadians, however, add a unique twist. They believe that this light is already within us, not something we need to search for externally. The only task is to awaken to it. This brings us to an intriguing paradox. We already have everything we need to transcend our limitations. The answer lies within us, but most are too blinded by the noise of modern life to see it. The Pleiadians are not suggesting that we wait for a divine intervention or that some external force will come to lift us up. Rather, they urge us to become the change we seek, to actively raise our own frequency through conscious effort, mindfulness, and spiritual practices. To illustrate this, think of the ancient concept of the microcosm and macrocosm, the idea that the universe is reflected within the human being. If the macrocosm, the larger universe, is vibrating at higher frequencies, then the microcosm, our own consciousness, must also strive to align with these higher vibrations. In this way, the work of spiritual ascension becomes both a personal and collective journey. As we raise our individual frequencies, we contribute to the elevation of the collective consciousness, creating a ripple effect that expands beyond ourselves. One of the most misunderstood aspects of the Pleiadian message is the concept of suffering. It is often believed that spiritual awakening is about transcending pain and hardship. But the Pleiadians, like other advanced spiritual beings, offer a different perspective. Suffering is not something to be avoided, it is something to be integrated and transcended. The Pleiadians suggest that pain and suffering are tools that, when used consciously, can catalyze transformation. This is a profound shift in perspective, as it challenges the common narrative that spiritual awakening should be a smooth, painless process. The real question, then, is not how to avoid suffering, but rather how to transmute it. The Pleiadians guide us in using suffering as a stepping stone to spiritual growth, helping us break free from the chains of victimhood and find meaning in even the darkest of experiences. By embracing our pain and learning to heal it, we align ourselves with the Pleiadian message of self-transformation. The concept of light and dark is another area where the Pleiadian teachings challenge our conventional thinking. In many spiritual teachings, light is seen as good, and dark is seen as bad. But the Pleiadians teach us that light and dark are not opposing forces, they are two sides of the same coin. One cannot exist without the other, and true spiritual growth comes from understanding and integrating both aspects of ourselves. The more we resist the darkness within us, the more we reinforce the illusion of separation. The Pleiadians invite us to embrace our shadows, to bring them into the light of awareness, and in doing so, we unlock our fullest potential. This perspective on light and dark aligns closely with the teachings of Carl Jung, who believed that the path to wholeness required embracing the shadow, the unconscious, hidden aspects of the psyche. The Pleiadians, much like Jung's archetypes, offer a framework for understanding the deep-seated patterns within us that influence our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. These patterns, often buried in our unconscious, are the very keys to our transformation. By acknowledging them, we align ourselves with the divine and awaken to a higher state of consciousness. Furthermore, the Pleiadians emphasize that the journey of spiritual awakening is not linear, it's a spiral, an ongoing process of rising and falling, expanding and contracting. This is not about reaching a final destination, but about continually ascending to new heights of awareness, each time shedding old layers of limitation. The Pleiadians are not offering us a quick fix or a shortcut, they are inviting us into a lifelong process of deep, conscious evolution. Now that we've explored the profound wisdom the Pleiadians offer, it's time to take these cosmic truths and make them real in our everyday lives. This is where the teachings shift from the theoretical to the practical. The Pleiadians are not just inviting us to listen, they are urging us to act. Raising your vibration. The first practical step on your journey is to raise your vibration, to begin shifting from the lower frequency of fear and negativity into one of love, acceptance, and spiritual wisdom. One of the most effective ways to do this is through meditation. But not just any meditation, Pleiadian meditation, which focuses on connecting with the higher realms of consciousness. To practice this, find a quiet space and close your eyes. Visualize a golden light surrounding your body, a radiant energy that comes directly from the stars, from the Pleiadian system. Feel this energy moving through you, lifting you higher, pushing out any negativity or limiting beliefs. As you breathe deeply, affirm to yourself, I am one with the stars. I am open to the wisdom of the cosmos. With each breath, feel yourself becoming lighter, more connected to your true, divine essence. This practice, done regularly, will begin to shift your frequency, gradually aligning you with higher vibrational states. Shadow work and self-integration. Another crucial aspect of applying the Pleiadian teachings is shadow work, the process of embracing and integrating the hidden parts of ourselves. The Pleiadians emphasize that healing begins with self-awareness, and this requires courage. Many of us are conditioned to repress certain emotions, desires, or aspects of our personality that we deem unacceptable. However, true spiritual awakening can only occur when we face these parts head-on, understanding their origins and their role in our lives. Start by identifying areas of your life where you feel resistance, anger, or sadness. Ask yourself, what am I hiding from? Perhaps it's a fear, a past trauma, or an unacknowledged desire. The Pleiadians suggest writing these emotions or thoughts down in a journal, allowing them to surface without judgment. Once you've identified these shadows, the next step is to embrace them. Recognize that these darker aspects of your psyche are not your enemies, they are opportunities for growth. If you feel anger, ask yourself what that anger is teaching you. Is it a sign that a boundary has been crossed? Is it pointing to a deeper unfulfilled need? By understanding the shadow, you transform it from a source of fear to a source of wisdom. Over time, this practice will lead to deeper self-acceptance and spiritual maturity. Transmuting. Suffering. As we discussed earlier, suffering is not something to be avoided, it's something to be transmuted. To transform suffering into growth, the Pleiadians recommend mindful presence. When faced with difficulty, stop and breathe. Instead of falling into victimhood or numbing yourself with distractions, allow yourself to fully experience the emotion. Whether it's grief, anger, or frustration, be present with it. Feel it in your body. Where does it manifest? What does it want to communicate? Then, shift your perspective. Rather than asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? This shift from victimhood to empowerment is central to the Pleiadian message. They believe that every challenge is an opportunity to expand. By transmuting your suffering, you not only raise your own vibration but also contribute to the collective consciousness, helping to uplift humanity as a whole. The power of intention. One of the most practical tools the Pleiadians offer is the power of intention. When you set a clear intention for your day, your actions, and your life, you create a roadmap for your consciousness to follow. The Pleiadians believe that intention is the key to unlocking the hidden power within. Your thoughts and intentions are like seeds. When planted with clarity and conviction, they begin to grow and manifest in your reality. To use this tool, begin each day by setting an intention. It can be something as simple as, I intend to live today with an open heart and a clear mind. Or you can make it more specific, I intend to embrace my shadow and transform my fears into strength. Write your intention down and revisit it throughout the day. As you go through your routine, ask yourself, is this aligned with my intention? If the answer is no, gently steer yourself back on course. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to manifest the reality you desire and align with your highest self. Embracing the spiral of ascension. Finally, the Pleiadians invite us to embrace the spiral of ascension, the cyclical nature of spiritual growth. Remember, this journey is not linear. There will be times of rapid expansion and times of deep contraction. When you find yourself in a period of stagnation or even apparent regression, know that this is a natural part of the process. Just as the spiral moves in both directions, so too does the journey of the soul. Each time you revisit a lesson, it is not as though you are starting over, it is a new opportunity to go deeper, to gain a clearer understanding, and to rise once again. As we come to the end of this journey, we are left with a profound truth. The Pleiadians are not simply distant, ethereal beings observing us from afar. They are a reflection of the untapped potential within each of us, a mirror that shows us the path of ascension that we are all capable of walking. The ancient wisdom they offer is not meant to be a fantasy or a mere escapist's dream. It is a call to action, urging us to rise above the limitations of the ego and embrace the cosmic dance that is unfolding within us and around us. We are entering a time of great awakening, where the veil between the earthly and the celestial is thinning. The Pleiadians are here to remind us that our journey is not a solitary one, we are part of a greater cosmic family. The challenge now is to embrace this wisdom, to raise our vibration, integrate our shadows, and transform the suffering that has defined so much of human existence. The way forward is one of love, unity, and self-realization, a path that is as old as time itself. But this path is not for the faint of heart. It requires commitment, courage, and the willingness to face the deepest parts of ourselves. The Pleiadian message is clear, the time has come to awaken to our true potential, to become the beings we were always meant to be, beings of light, love, and wisdom. And in doing so, we become co-creators of a new reality, one where humanity evolves, not just on an individual level, but as a collective. So, as you continue your journey, ask yourself this: what role do you wish to play in the grand cosmic plan? Are you ready to shed the limitations of the past and embrace the boundless possibilities of the future? The Pleiadians have shown us the way. Now, it's up to each of us to walk the path and awaken to the extraordinary truth that lies within. The stars are calling. Will you answer? With that, you're now equipped with a deeper understanding of the Pleiadian teachings and how to integrate them into your life. Don't let this knowledge slip away. Take action. Awaken. Evolve. Transcend. If you're ready to continue exploring the mysteries of the cosmos, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this journey with those who seek to awaken their own spiritual potential.